Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome into O'Neill's Grill for our weekly Fan and Press Luncheon with JMU head football coach Everett Withers. As we're going to talk a little bit about the Dukes' win this past weekend as they improved to 6-0 overall and to 3-0 in the Colonial Athletic Association, did the number 5 ranked Dukes. 51-30 was the final against the Tigers at Johnny Unitas Stadium. Upcoming next for the Dukes will be the Elon Phoenix next Saturday at Elon. In addition to Coach Withers this afternoon, we'll also invite one of the Dukes tight ends, Deane Cheatham. He'll come to the podium after we finish up with Coach Withers. Coach Withers will start with his usual update on player personnel and his team weekly awards. Coach?
Thanks, Kurt. Start off with injuries. Luckily, we came out of the game pretty healthy. The normal bumps and bruises that you have when you play a physical football team, as Towson was. Brendan Ravenel, who was a little banged up with ribs last week, is better. Don't see any issues with him, being able to play this week. Practice yesterday as we got going with our normal weekly routine. Cornell Urquhart, who was down last week with concussion protocol, is back up, practiced yesterday. So we expect to have him on next Saturday when we go to Elon. And then Casey Crow was back up and is healthy and ready to go. So for the most part, we're a healthy football team in our two deep. Don't have any major injuries other than the normal mid-season bumps and bruises that you have. So we're obviously fortunate for that to be the case, and hope to continue that. I'll say this: I think it's a credit to our players and them taking care of the bodies and being what we call pros. And how they take care of their bodies. And then Chelsea Burkhart and Aaron Burkhart do an unbelievable job in our strength and conditioning and our nutrition area. I think that's a big key for us. Team awards for this past week offensively. Young man graded out 94%, had 7 catches for 99 yards and a touchdown, 14.1 yard per catch average. Brandon Ravenel played really well for us. Defensively, got graded out 89%, had 4 tackles, a sack and a half. Played really dominant in the game up front and chased the football. Maybe his best game this year, Alex Mosley. And special teams, obviously a guy gets a 92-yard kickoff return and has a couple more that were close, had an opportunity. And then did a great job for us on kickoff coverage. Had 2 tackles on kickoff coverage and had a Call's fumble, Charles Tutt from Centerville High School. So very pleased with the freshman and how he's progressing. Obviously, Vad was the offensive player of the week in the league, and Charles was the special teams player of the week in the league. So, again, hats off to those guys and their awards for the week.
Once again, congratulations, Coach, on the win as the Dukes are 6-0. Now, Coach, despite 51 points, 483 yards of total offense, certainly those are obviously very good numbers, but there seem to be some other uneasy feelings coming out of that ball game, areas that can you address those, special teams, for example, and maybe a few other aspects?
Well, it's funny, and Dean will tell you this, we try to shoot for perfection, knowing that we'll get some excellence on the way. We're never going to be perfect. And I was probably a little hard on our football team after the game on Saturday, just because I felt like we didn't play as hard as we needed to in the first half. I go back and watch the game. I thought we played really well. I thought we played against a really good Towson team, a physical, probably right up there with Stony Brook as far as being physical and talented. We've had 3 weeks in a row of big physical football teams, and I felt like our kids went on the road and played well. We didn't execute as well as we wanted to in the special teams. That's a given. A lot of that's got to do with Towson. Our kickoff coverage isn't where we wanted to be. A lot of that's got to do. We kick off an awful lot, and people get a chance to scheme us. We got some things we got to get fixed, but yesterday, I actually apologized to our football team because I felt that they did play hard. They played hard, and they played against a really good, well-coached team that that Rob Ambrose has, and they've had their injuries and that type deal. But we played against a very, very good football team in my mind.
All right, Coach, kind of along that same line, you wanted to establish a run. You want to do that every week, and this was against a big physical team, as you mentioned. So if you look at it, only 1 sack, 14 yards lost on the afternoon. Would that be acceptable? I know you want to be perfect, but would that be an acceptable number in a game when you're playing a team such as Towson?
Well, add to that, we did not meet our explosive play goal, and I think we only had 7 in the ball game. But if you look at the game, again, anytime you go on the road and you're playing a big physical football team that's well coached, you got to be able to grind the run game out. You got to be able to take your shots when you need to, and you got to be able to stop the run. I think we held them to 119 on defense, and 33 of that was 2 scrambles by the quarterback. But offensively, I felt like it was our most efficient day so far this year offensively. If you look at everything, take everything in the perspective that you need to, it was our most efficient day on offense. Vad had a great, as far as passing efficiency, and I felt like our backs really ran hard. Carden ran hard. I thought the receivers all did a great job of catching the ball. We had what we call we had the grind run game going, and we had the combat catches going in the passing game. That was one kind of day it was going to be, and I really, really proud of the way our kids played. So yes, acceptable when you play against a tough team. Yes.
The numbers that bear out for Khalid Abdullah yesterday or on Saturday, 133 yards rushing. He had the most effective day when you just look at it from a pure number standpoint. Why was he maybe more effective? Why did he have the bigger numbers than Carden, for example? And it looked like they were taking away the run from Vad Lee.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I mean, when you watch the film, I think Carden just had a few more creases Khalid had a few more creases than Carden. That's about it. There was no particular, Carden hit it up in there really hard, did a nice job. In fact, Carden, I think, graded better than Khalid because of the way he ran. Carden maybe missed a few holes, but they both ran hard. I think, Khalid had a few more opportunities than Carden did.
Most of this running, too, was downhill. There was not a lot going to the outside trying to get to the edge. To me, that says that you challenge the offensive line, say, guys, you're going to have to push these guys out to create these seams. How do you think the offensive line graded out, or how did they grade out?
I thought they played good. Again, I think they can be better. There were a couple times we didn't get to the next level in the run game, but again, you're playing against a really good football team with big physical guys up front and linebackers that really attack the line of scrimmage, and they really wanted to stop our run game, and obviously we still were able to run the ball, but I think it opened up some things in the pass game that we were able to get some shots down the field, and that's kind of the game you play. If you're going to add it to the run game, then there's going to be some open shots in the pass game.
You rotate those backs in many times, and you also speak often of formations to put you in favorable circumstances. Why is it not favorable to have both your backs in at the same time?
Well, that might be coming, Kurt, so I don't want to give it away right now.
Then we can leave it at that, Coach. We don't need to give any intel out. All right, very good. That's fair to say. A couple of other things, and we'll turn it over to other members of the media. Scoring by quarters. Wide margins in the first quarter, 82 to 34. In the third quarter, 93 to 26. Why is that so?
I think it's a tempo we try to set early in both areas. We kind of look at the game as two different games, how you want to start and then how you want to start the second half is kind of what we want to do. We talk about racing the score at halftime and coming out and restarting the game over. And I think our kids get into, especially when we win the toss, we love to defer and we want the ball in the second half. We want to be able to start the second half off. We want our defense to start the game. We want our kickoff team to start the game. And then we want to be able to take the ball at the beginning of the second half and go. And I think it's just a mindset that we have in our, kind of the way we do things.
All right, one more question. Co-offensive coordinator Zach Kors, he pointed out to us by social media, there are 3 head coaches from the Urban Meyer tree that are undefeated right now. Right. You're one of those, of course. Tom Herman at Houston, 5-0, averaging 46 points a game, 573 yards. Kyle Whittingham, who worked with Urban a number of years ago, of course, at Utah, is 5-0, 37 points per game, 401 total yards of offense. Could these type of results, are we seeing a revolution of college football a little bit with these type of numbers?
Yeah, it was amazing. My wife had an opportunity to go to the Alabama-Arkansas game this weekend. Again, my daughter goes to Alabama. She works in the football office, and she got a chance to talk to Burton Burns, who is the assistant head coach and running back coach at Alabama. One of the things that he said, and Coach Saban's been saying it over the last probably year and a half, 2 years, the game has changed in college football. Having a dominant defense doesn't really mean as much anymore. If you can't score points in bunches on offense now, I don't know if you can win championships. And it's one of the reasons he's gone to what he's gone to on offense at Alabama. So, old stubborn defensive coaches, Coach Willingham at Utah was the defensive coordinator for Urban at Utah. Obviously Nick's a defensive guy, and he gets it. He understands that you better be able to score points. And obviously I've learned that lesson over the last 5-6 years, and then obviously my 2 years at Ohio State. You got to be able to score points. You got to be able to run the football, but you got to be able to score points. You got to be able to have explosive plays. So yeah, I think there is an evolution and change in college football.
All right, we'll open it up to other members of the media here at O'Neill's Grill with our weekly Fan and Press Luncheon. Now on the stage, of course, is Head Coach Everett Withers.
Coach, you mentioned the need to have explosive plays. How important is that into the team's identity and to have success in a league like this?
Well, yeah, I think every team looks to have explosive plays, and again, it's kind of what we want to do. The reason we go fast is so we can maybe have more explosive plays. It's part of what we want to do. Again, when you're having explosive plays and you're scoring points, you're not keeping the ball very long. But there are times that we want to be able to slow the game down. But I think it's important to our identity. I think our kids, especially offensively, they expect to have those explosive plays because they work so hard in practice to get in position to make them.
Well, Charles had obviously one of those explosive plays on special teams over the weekend. What did you see in him in terms of potential when you first met him, and how did he mold into the culture that you're building here at JMU?
All you got to do is go look at his high school tape. Just go turn on his high school tape, and you'll see a young, talented guy at Centerville High School that was, a guy that was an explosive player. He was a great return man in high school, great cover corner. We want to continue to maybe grow him in that area and get him on the field a little bit more. But it didn't take us long. We knew there was going to be a time this year that he was going to be back there, either catching punts or catching kickoffs or maybe both. It may be a time where you see that this year where he's doing both.
And in terms of the young players overall, how do you feel they're developing as we're going to Week 7, and how much of that development is based on the senior leadership on your team?
Well, I think it has an awful lot to do with it. We spend an awful lot of time with our Unity Council on Thursday afternoons. I meet with a group of about 11 guys, and we talk about how we want to affect our young kids on our team and how we want to make sure that they're on the right path, that they're doing right in each unit. And I think our guys, our seniors and our Unity Council guys have done an unbelievable job of guiding the young players on our football team.
Coach, where is this team at now, this point in the season, where you kind of hoped they would be coming into the year? Did you have a model or a mark where you thought, okay, here's where I really want us to be, and where does this team match that?
I will tell you this, and I really didn't, to be honest with you. I couldn't. People always say, "Well, how many games you going to win?" I don't know. I can't tell you. Where you're going to be? It was going to be. We felt like we were going to be a young football team. We only have 10 seniors on our entire football team. So it was going to be how well some young guys progressed, how well some guys we moved positions progressed, how healthy you stay. All those things go into play. So all we want to do was work hard, get to week 1, and kind of grow from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to week 4, and then kind of see where we were. And continue. We got a long way to go. We're not a finished product by any means, and we're going to have to get better. We're going to have to get better to do some of the things that we'd like to do, and we're not close to that yet.
Were you pleased with the tempo that you were able to produce on Saturday? I know you said keeping keeping things moving fast is a key to what you do. Were you pleased with what your team put out?
You know, I am. It gets frustrating sometimes, but I don't think we get the ball set by our officials very fast, and it really bothers me. I'm probably going to get reprimanded for that. I don't care. I just think they get tired, I guess. I don't know. But it just seems like we can't get the ball set so we can go. We like to go. There are times where the referee's got the ball in his hand, he's walking around, and they're subbing, and we want to go because we can go if they're subbing as long as we're not. And we've got to, you know, that's one thing I'd like at the next head coaches meeting. I'd like to talk about getting some more athletic guys to set the ball down.
And if you will, talk about Justin Willens and Jordan Brown substituted for one another quite a bit. Talk about what each of them are doing when they're in the game at that point, if you will.
Well, Justin's playing in nickel and in base, and Jordan's playing in nickel. So we're just trying to get a fifth defensive back on the field or get a third linebacker on the field, fourth linebacker on the field.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about your wide receivers and the depth that you have right now? It's like you have a lot of depth there.
Yeah, we do. We've got some depth at wide receiver, and we want to continue to grow. We've got some young guys that we still want to see if we can get maybe acclimated to play a little bit more for us. But I think those guys, it's a great unit. It's a great room. I think those guys are playing well. They all, you know, push. It's like all our units. I think those guys really cheer for each other, and they take pride in doing well. They take pride in the little things, blocking in the run game, and they take pride on making those combat catches that we talked about. There was 2 or 3 the other night. I think Damo had one on a touchdown catch where he went up and took a ball away, and obviously Rashad took a big hit over the middle, and Brandon took a big hit, and they both, you know, got up, and, you know, those are combat catches. Those are catches that they got to make, and those guys take pride in that.
Talk a little about Elon and kind of what you're expecting from them.
I expect a tough physical game. I think it's their homecoming. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. They've got a very good safety, Chris Blair, that I think an awful lot of. I think he loves to play the game. Tough physical guy. I really like their quarterback. I think they're on. You know, Rich, I think, has got them going in the right direction. You don't look at you look at the record and you say whether or not. You know, but it takes time sometimes to get a program going. I know he's recruiting really hard because we're battling him in recruiting some. So I think he's got them headed in the right direction. I know they'll play hard.
A couple more questions for you there, Coach. First of all, I did come to another realization. You were talking about the officials and putting the ball down and how that tempo can affect so many other variables at the stadium. The officials, the clock operator, everybody has to really be on their toes.
Right.
But I learned from some of our fans that you also offset the opposing bands because they don't know when to stop and when to play. And that happened at Towson the other day. Did you ever you probably never heard that before.
I never heard that. That's a new one.
Yeah. But
Put that one in the book.
You kind of neutralized them, and, of course, they had it was a great contingent of JMU purple there.
Yeah,
that one section
awesome.
was, again, very dense with purple. And it gave our fans a chance to say, ha, we got you here. So good job there once again.
Yeah,
you can neutralize a band that well.
Awesome.
One other thing, Coach, and we'll let you go on this one. This has been a tremendous fall sports season for the JMU sports program all in all. Certainly football's had a lot to do with that. But right now, James Madison has won 70% of its overall games, 44 wins, 17 losses, and 5 ties. And 3 teams are undefeated in the top of the league standings in their respective sports, football, volleyball, and field hockey. From the football perspective, that office, are you very much in tune with all this other success? And how does it feed off one another?
Yeah, well, I really, volleyball and field hockey, I'm probably a little bit more close to. I've got to know Christy a little bit, and
it's hard not to.
Yeah. I just love the way she coaches. I mean, I'd love to have her or be on her staff. I'd love to be a part of it. I think she gets after those girls really hard, and they play that way. I went to watch a game, I think 2 Sundays ago. Before we met, I stopped and watched, and then I think last Sunday I stopped. I can't remember who they were playing. I stopped and watched a game just a little bit, as much as I can get a chance to see. And I know volleyball's got that same culture. You know, they're all working on changing culture and getting things done in a way that lead to excellence. And to me, hopefully we've got a little bit to do with that. I don't know. But we want to be a part of it, that's for sure.
Well, certainly you are. The Dukes again 6-0, and they face the Phoenix of Elon on the road this coming Saturday. Any other questions from folks? Okay. Well, very good. Well, we'll
Awesome.
change out here. Thank you, Coach.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Awesome.
And we'll bring up a redshirt senior from Mechanicsville, Virginia, Hanover High School. He's been out there on the football gridiron for a number of years now for the Dukes of James Madison. That is Deane Cheatham, 6'1", 235-pounder. And Deane right now ranks second among the Dukes receivers. He has 23 receptions, 333 yards, an average of 14.5 yards per catch, 3 touchdowns. Had a long of 52. That one's probably one you'll remember, huh?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
And then, of course, had one game earlier this year where he had 118 yards of reception in a ball game. But Deane, first of all, let's go back a little bit to the Towson game. You were out there on the gridiron. How physical that game was? How physical was that game compared to maybe the others that the Dukes have played in thus far this season?
Towson's a really tough team. I've known from playing them in the past that they're going to come and they're going to blitz. They blitzed over 50% of the time, and they had emphasis on stopping the run game. They hit us in the mouth, and they're a tough team. So they're always going to play us tough. They're going to play everybody tough.
In your role, you play quite a versatile role because you're asked to block at times, you're asked to catch at times, and sometimes you're lined up as an H-back or a true tight end. Tell us a little bit about playing this position. Is this the ideal Deane Cheatham position?
Well, I line up wherever they tell me to line up and do what I can for the team. But I enjoy my position. I get to line up and play wide receiver sometimes, and sometimes I'm in more of a fullback role and a traditional tight end role as well. So I enjoy what I do, and I think I add value in what I do to the best of my ability. So it's a good role.
Coach said he was a little hard on the Dukes the other day and then made some apology yesterday. Maybe your thoughts on that?
Well, we appreciated the apology. I mean, the thing is that our team is, he said we have a young team, but we also have a mature team. We realized that we made some mistakes on Saturday, and we have some areas to clean up. But we also realized that we won the football game by 21 points, and that's something to be proud of on the road against a tough physical football team. So I think the focus for this week will be coming up with some solutions to those problems, and we're looking forward. So.
In the course of a game, you have played 5 FCS opponents this year. You have not trailed against an FCS opponent 1 minute of the 300 minutes that you played thus far this season. But what are the vibes on the sideline when there seems to be a little bit of adversity? Like the other day when Towson comes up, it's 27-23. You're in a tight ball game with an FCS opponent, a conference opponent that counts 2, a win for one, a loss for another. Can you give us a sense of just how the sideline feels in occasions like that?
I'd say that we almost step up to rise to the occasion in those situations. It was 27-23 when Charles ran the kickback. And he made a big play. We just have a lot of guys who love making plays and love big moments, and just we do things right at big times. So it's exciting.
I do want to ask you about your 52-yard touchdown run a couple of weeks ago. Can you take us through that one? Did you hear anybody coming down at you as you were running for the cone there?
Just run as fast as you can. I think it was Coach Montenar said, it's like when you play video games and you're mashing the turbo button as fast as you can. That's what I looked like when I was running. So.
Turbo Cheatham. All right, I like that. Not bad at all. All right, questions from members of the media here.
Hey, Deane. Coach always talks about being on the journey of this program since he's been here. What has the journey been like for you in your time, even before Coach Withers has been here, and how special it's been?
Excuse me?
What has this experience been like for you, and especially since you've been here before Withers was here? What has it been like for you to kind of see the progress of this team and see, obviously, a lot of success?
Yeah, well, we've been through a lot of change, and it's been rewarding, and winning, we've won every game we played this year, so it's been clearly it's been rewarding, and it's been a fun season so far. You know, winning is a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun than losing. So I guess it's been nice.
And you guys always talk about obviously how focused you guys are. Can you maybe talk a little bit about what goes into how you guys are able to block out the noise, and maybe even sometimes you forget which team you're playing and coming into that week.
Yeah, we focus on our daily preparation. We go through the day or the week one by one, day by day, and we focus on what we do really. And a lot of people say that, but it's true. We watch film and we study the other teams, but a lot of times we're worried about what we can control, and if we do that, it's proven itself. So.
And finally, what's it been like working with Vad and such a talent that he is, and how great is he as a leader in that offense, in that room?
He's a tremendous leader, and he's a even better person. Everyone says that about Vad, and everyone knows that he's a great guy. So you're not going to get anybody to say anything bad about him. So.
Dean, what's the perception from the student body like? I know Coach wants them to encourage them to be in the stands Saturdays for games. So when you're walking around campus going to class, what's the perception from your classmates about the success you're having this year?
People are excited that we're winning. It's a lot more exciting when you're winning. It's a lot more fun to be a part of something when it's a winning culture, and we really appreciate the support from the students. People will stop you and say great job this weekend, and a lot of the band members are jacked up about it. I love seeing the band because I think they're some of our biggest fans, or they definitely are our biggest student fans, and I always try to say congratulate them or say how much we appreciate them too.
Talk about the environment game day when you come out, the band's playing. We've got a lot of folks there. What's it like when you're out there with that support around you? Just kind of give us your feeling as you come out of the tunnel.
Well, we have the best game day experience in our league, definitely. I mean, we've been all over the place, and nothing really compares at our level to the JMU experience. And I bet you our opponents would say the same thing.
Dean, can you just talk a little bit about the receiving core, you guys and the tight ends and receivers, and kind of, I guess, how you guys get along and how you've been doing on and off the field?
Yeah, well, I'm not really a part of the receiving room. They have their own separate room, but I like to consider myself in both sides of it. They'd probably say I'm not really a part of their room, but I like to say that I'm a part of the wide receivers room and also a part of the offensive line room. So I really feel like it's a hybrid role. Like I said, I line up in the line and outside. So I like to say that I get along with all those guys, and I think they'd say the same thing. The receiving room is a looser room. It's probably the loosest room that we'd have, and Coach would agree to that. But there's just a ton of playmakers in that room, and they don't even have a senior in there. But they've just made plays game after game, and they're going to continue to make plays. That's just the way that they are.
And with the offense, the way you guys have been rolling on offense, are you a little surprised at how well you've done and the kind of numbers you guys are putting up this year?
It's definitely surprising when you look up at the scoreboard and you got, some weeks we've had 700 or 600, 700 yards of offense. That's a little surprising when you look up and you have those kind of numbers. But really, we trust the system. Like we're just trying to get lined up as fast as we can and get the signal and run the next play. So it's produced.
What's going on?
How you doing?
You said you're a mature team, I guess. Is that a good way? Is that a good thing to handle being 6-0? And I guess as expectations maybe grow, is that good to be a mature team in that to go along in a season like this?
Yeah, well, I'd say we are a young team, but also mature in the way that just we're young and experienced. I think at least on the offensive side of the ball, we have a lot of guys that have played in a lot of games. They've played a lot of football, and I think that it's going to help us down the road. Just staying focused on day-to-day preparation, just taking it day by day and week by week.
You haven't faced some of the tougher teams in this league. the rivalry games, more road games, I guess. Are you looking forward to see how you kind of respond to some of those games, I guess, and late in the season, I guess?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've played a few tough teams in this league already, and you know, there's going to be tough challenges to come. We have a tough challenge this week with Elon, and we have to just stay focused on what we do, though. You know, so tomorrow will be a big practice for us, and we'll continue to go down the line.
Do you think the target on your back has grown any bigger? I mean, you're rising the rankings, your stats are crazy.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I think that you know, like I said about the game day experience and just being JMU, there's going to be a target on your back just because that's the way it is. But there's definitely going to be a target that comes with success anywhere. So, like I said, just the maturity of our team and the leadership of our team is just going to have to handle that and focus on what we do.
Dean, a couple more questions here for you before we let you finish up today. Coach talks about putting the team in good formations to give you an advantage successfully, and Vad probably has the best vantage point from that because he's the quarterback. But when you line up in certain circumstances, can you vision that we're going to make this play? This is going to come to us because you see the formation, and it's just a matter of execution. Like you can almost see into the future that this play is going to work for you?
Yeah, well, you can see, you know, sometimes we'll be going fast and we'll just be setting something up. You know, we'll be running it over and over again. And you know, like Coach says, we always want to establish the run, and that's a big thing that we do. And we establish the run, and then we make the big pass off of that run game. You know, the run game starts it all for us. So you can see it setting itself up sometimes when we're running it over and over again. You can see those guys creeping up in the box, and you can see people moving around. And when that pass play is called, you know, we had some plays where all four receivers were wide open on Saturday. So.
And you talked about going hour by hour, day by day, week by week. In this process, you've got a special name for each day, you know, as you work out. Is there a day of the week, a part of this process that Dean comes to and says, this is my favorite part of it? And is there one that's maybe not so favorite?
I mean, Saturday is
that's an easy answer.
So,
that's an easy answer. I'm talking about the process getting to Saturday.
You know, Tuesdays that's Toughness Tuesday is our toughest day of the week with the way that it's named. It's pretty self-explanatory. But that's the day where I really get to go. You know, that's a day where I practice really hard, and I take as many reps as I can. And sometimes I'm toned back just because I'm old, you know, sort of kind of getting old, kind of can't handle it the way I used to. So Tuesdays are enjoyable. We make a lot of corrections on Tuesday. We make a lot of mistakes, but we learn from Tuesdays the most. That's the day of practice, and you've been at practice before, but where everyone's going, that's the fastest day of the week. So Sundays sometimes are the most difficult day of the week, just because you're sore from the game, and we go on Sundays and we practice, and so there's your answer for that one.
Does that Sunday, that tough Sunday, make Monday a little better though?
Well, we have Monday's off, so yeah, it's nice to have it. Yeah, actually, yesterday was kind of I'd say it was our most enjoyable Sunday. We had the Young Guns scrimmage, so all the kids that are redshirting, and a lot of the freshmen, even Charles and Rashad were out there mixing it up and just playing. Just got to watch those kids play. Got to watch them try to go as fast as they can, and they made mistakes, but they played really hard. I was impressed with a lot of what we saw.
Let me also share with you, Dean, the internal media enjoyed a great winter dinner on the way back on Saturday night. How was your winter's dinner yesterday?
It was great, as always. It's always great eating winter's dinner, so we'd like to keep that going.
All right. Well, let's hope you have another winter's dinner come Sunday.
All right.
Deane Cheatham of the JMU football Dukes, tight end for the Dukes, a redshirt senior. Best of luck as we continue the season there, Dean. And thank you all for joining us here at O'Neill's Grill. We'll be back next Monday. We'll talk about the Dukes contest at Elon, and then we'll get you set up for homecoming 2015. The Dukes and the Richmond Spiders, that's the next home outcome. Good afternoon, everyone.